I have no problem in taking advice from anyone because they can never take away what I already know, but they can always teach me something new.
BTSW.
This quote, believe it or not, actually is not mine, even though I put my name on it. The first person I actually heard say any version of this was my father, who sadly passed away about 6 years ago. And he would always tell me, "You talks too much," as we used to say. I was very talkative as a child, and I always asked questions like why and what. I always wanted people to repeat themselves, reword themselves, or just explain themselves. And to be honest, I didn't really stop that. I still ask those same questions, but I'm not as talkative as I used to be. And this is one of the main reasons why. Because my father just kind of beat it into my head, I know that I can't teach myself what I already know. And I have another quote that I'll just make a reference to because it doesn't need a whole video. If someone has a point to make, let them make it, because you can't teach yourself what you already know. A prime example would be in an argument, and I don't mean like a row or a disagreement or two people shouting at each other. I mean an argument where one person has a point to make and another person has another point to make, and they just argue their points. In that setting, you should always allow the other person to make their point. If you already know what you are going to say and you know that you know this information, it doesn't matter when you say it. So let that other person make their point. Side note, a lot of people don't like arguing with me for the same reason, because on the other side of this quote, if I know that you're wrong and we're in an argument face to face, I won't stop you from making your point. I'm going to let you make your incorrect, invalid, inaccurate point, and then I'll shut you down. Because the principle is to let you speak. You got a point to make, go ahead, make your point. It's kind of disrespectful to just cut people off and just say, "Oh, you don't know what you're talking about." Maybe you don't even know that you don't know what you're talking about, but I'm going to let you finish speaking first because I would like you to do the same for me when it's my turn to speak. So because I know I can't teach myself anything new, I kind of just exercise humility, and I allow anyone from any status or class or race or knowledge, background, anyone, any age, if you feel like you have a point to make or you have a valid argument, I'm gonna let you say your piece, and then if need be, I'll give my rebuttal. Because even in the event that you are wrong, even in the event that you don't know what you're talking about, I will still learn something new. It's just that in that event, I will learn that you don't know what you're talking about. That's all. But if you actually do have a valid point, then I would obviously learn something new. I would have some new information that I can then pass on to my fellow brethren and sisterins. Anyway, what I've realized through my short years living on this earth, people tend to always want to speak first. They want to get their piece out first. And more often than not, the information that they have to give is general knowledge. It's something that everybody already knows. If I have some general knowledge, I'm not going to be quick to give that to the public. And I'm not trying to say everyone should be like me. However, if you actually are trying to learn something new, you should always listen twice as much as you speak. When I was growing up, they used to say that's why you got 2 ears and 1 mouth, so you listen twice as much as you talk. This quote kind of references that same thing, especially if the person that is trying to speak to you seems to be or believes to be more knowledgeable than you in this specific area that y'all are discussing. I think it would be best to let them speak first, and for you to listen, because regardless of what they say, you will definitely learn something new.